Ferrari finally got a breath of fresh air with Charles Leclerc back on the podium at the Circuit of the Americas in the United States Grand Prix. After enduring a couple of exceptionally challenging months in which the Maranello team struggled to find consistent performance, the Scuderia returned to securing a solid third-place finish, a result that brought a welcome boost to the morale of the entire Ferrari squad, following a disastrous Friday in Austin. The extensive overhaul in the SF-25's car setup, which involved both mechanical adjustments and aerodynamic refinements, allowed both Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton to extract the maximum potential from the car, pushing it closer to its true limits. Lewis Hamilton, unfortunately, suffered a sudden drop in pace on the final lap of the race, which appeared to be caused by a punctured front right tire, slightly marring what had been an otherwise strong performance. This return to the podium provided not only a competitive uplift for Charles Leclerc, but also a sense of reassurance and calm for team principal Frederic Vasseur. The outcome reflected the half-full glass perspective with which the Ferrari team left Austin, demonstrating that even in a season filled with challenges, incremental successes can still be celebrated. For Lewis Hamilton, finishing fourth offered limited satisfaction, as he is still searching for his first podium of the 2025 Formula One season, a notable milestone he has yet to reach. However, the result significantly benefited the team in the Constructors Championship, where Ferrari is now strategically positioned between Mercedes, with just 7 points separating the Scuderia from the German outfit, and Red Bull, who have narrowed the gap to a mere 3 points. This tight configuration in the championship standings underscores the critical importance of every point gained in the closing stages of the season. At the Circuit of the Americas, two distinctly different Ferrari cars could be observed over the course of the weekend. The first, seen during Friday's free practice session, struggled with a variety of reliability issues, including a problematic gearbox on the car driven by Charles Leclerc. This initial version of the SF-25 delivered performance that was far from competitive, leaving the car off the pace even compared to midfield teams like Sauber, Williams, and Aston Martin, which were running more consistently. By the conclusion of the sprint qualifying on Friday, the Ferrari remote garage in Maranello, working in close collaboration with the engineers stationed on-site in Austin, concluded that the only viable path forward was to implement a comprehensive, large-scale adjustment to the car setup. The modifications incorporated both suspension tweaks and aerodynamic refinements, and they integrated perfectly with the existing track conditions, which included unusually high temperatures and strong, gusty winds. The changes were executed with such precision that even Charles Leclerc himself expressed surprise at how well they aligned with the conditions, culminating in a strong third-place finish at the end of the day's activities. The strategic decisions made by the team continued to prove correct when it came to selecting the tire compound for the start of the Grand Prix. Ferrari elected to pursue a more aggressive approach, opting to start both cars on the soft tire compound rather than the more conservative medium or hard compounds. Frederic Vasseur explained after the race that the hope was to allow the drivers, especially Charles Leclerc, to take the lead in the early laps and enjoy the aerodynamic and pace benefits of running in clean air ahead of the competition. He noted that the strategy worked about 50% of the time, acknowledging that while the result was not perfect, it nevertheless contributed significantly to the strong outcome of the weekend. Charles Leclerc fully supported this strategic decision. The Monegasque driver recounted that after testing the hard tires during Friday's practice session, he was entirely in agreement with the decision not to use that particular compound at the start of the race. He admitted, however, that there was a brief moment of doubt when his race engineer informed him over the team radio that his car was the only one in the top positions starting on the red soft tires. For a fleeting moment, he wondered if the team had overlooked some critical aspect of the strategy, but in the end, the decision proved to be the right one, validating the team's calculated risk and allowing him to execute a competitive race from the outset. During the race, Charles Leclerc successfully overtook Lando Norris and maintained his position ahead of the McLaren driver for a total of 21 laps, showcasing both skill and composure under pressure. An early switch to medium tires allowed Charles Leclerc to regain second place when Lando Norris had to make his pit stop, demonstrating the effectiveness of Ferrari's strategic planning. Despite his flawless defensive driving during this phase of the race, Charles Leclerc could not prevent Lando Norris from mounting a renewed attack 5 laps from the finish. Charles acknowledged that after the initial assault, he observed Lando Norris deliberately slowing for 4 or 5 laps in order to cool his tires and prepare for a final push. Recognizing this tactic, Charles Leclerc defended as effectively as possible, but by that point, his tires were beginning to degrade, limiting his ability to fend off the attack. This podium finish marked the first time in over 2 months that the Monegasque driver and Ferrari had stood on the top 3 positions in a race, a milestone that ended a progressively challenging period for the team. Charles described the day as truly positive, emphasizing that the second half of the season had not been easy, and that in recent weeks, the team had been the subject of unfounded rumors and speculation that added unnecessary pressure. Prior to Saturday's qualifying sessions, a message from Ferrari president John Leclerc arrived, providing words of encouragement that alleviated a significant portion of the mental and emotional pressure weighing on the team as they approached the United States Grand Prix. Frederic Vasseur noted that receiving such a message was a positive development for everyone involved in the team. Although the French manager has a contract with Ferrari, he commented that the president's message appeared to be aimed at addressing external speculation, putting an end to unnecessary rumors, and preventing the need to answer repeated questions regarding the management and internal dynamics of the team. In the short term, Ferrari's primary goal remains to finish the 2025 season with dignity, even though the championship is proving exceptionally competitive and difficult. Securing second place in the Constructors Championship, if achieved, would bring financial benefits to the team, but would have limited impact in absolute terms. Nevertheless, it would help maintain the team's focus and motivation throughout the remaining races, all the way to the final checkered flag at Yas Marina. Frederic Vasseur reiterated the team's determined mindset, emphasizing that Ferrari intends to remain fully concentrated until the very end of the season, striving to extract the maximum performance from the available resources, and appreciating the positive sensation of returning to the podium with both cars consistently positioned at the front of the field. One final incident nearly jeopardized Ferrari's points haul in Austin. On the final lap of the race, Lewis Hamilton lost approximately 4 seconds to Oscar Piastri, narrowly crossing the finish line with a margin of just 1.142 seconds ahead. During the post-race debriefing, the team plans to clarify the precise circumstances of this issue, but it appears that Lewis Hamilton suffered a puncture on the front right tire, which affected his overall pace in the closing moments of the Austin race. Overall, the United States Grand Prix provided a much-needed boost to Ferrari, both in terms of championship points and team morale. Charles Leclerc's podium finish and Lewis Hamilton's competitive fourth-place result demonstrated that the SF-25, when properly adjusted and managed, has the pace and strategic potential to challenge at the front of the grid. The team's ability to adapt quickly to challenging conditions, make decisive strategic calls, and optimize car performance underlines Ferrari's resilience in a season where every detail matters. For the drivers, especially Charles Leclerc, returning to the podium was a reaffirmation of their skill and perseverance, while for Frederic Vasseur and the entire Ferrari organization, it was a reminder that even during difficult periods, intelligent engineering and sound strategy can yield tangible success.